Anti-Afro Svengalis. This is the process of setting the record straight. And I want to make sure everyone knows what I mean by setting the record straight. It's a continuous process. And the reason it's a continuous process is because you have one person in particular leading the pack and trying to rewrite history as far as what occurred in and around slash nearby the Umar Johnson quote sector and surrounding streets and blocks. When you have this process to rewrite history, you always have people who know what went down and they'll just sit there dutifully and go along with it. Then there are others who are saying no. If history is going to be recited, it must have truth. Otherwise, it's nothing but a fairy tale, fiction, especially when those trying to retell it self install themselves as do gooders. But before I even do that, I have to make sure I reassert something that's very important. Nothing has changed about what my plans are in terms of my intent to address whatever needs to be addressed offline if legal lines are crossed. And I'm also reemphasizing that the vast majority of people in and around the Umar Johnson sector don't give a shit about that because they're not involved in the type of behavior or conduct that would warrant outside intervention. So let me tell you also, go to the links below the title and you're going to find information that is addressing what some people are saying. And it very well could be true, but in other circumstances, I'm not quite sure I buy it when they say, oh my God, why did this happen? What? Oh no, that's not nice. You shouldn't be attacking a woman. Well, you can go and check out what happened and you can have an informed opinion if you so choose to. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to address, there was a situation in Slanda G's live stream and I'm very specifically not going to mention the names. There is a male party and there's a female party involved. And the reason why I'm not mentioning the names because I know for a fact this is deliberate, this is specific, and they want me to mention their names. This is the whole point of the issue. And this is not something that just cropped up. This has been festering. So let me start with the female angle of the situation. There's a person who, to our surprise, popped up in Grumpy Monkey's sneak panels on us. We had no idea he was running sneak panels. They were sent by people from his quote camp, he calls it. Weren't expecting them. And there was a person on his sneak panels talking mad shit about me and Rev G. And I think this person mentioned something about Grumpy Monkey's chat. We weren't paying attention to Grumpy Monkey's regular chat. We don't have anybody over there that we gave a hoot about at the time. Since then, he has people over there engaging in illegal activity. That's a whole nother story. But at the time that I'm referring to, we had nobody checking in. This is a person who said he was going to stop talking about us. We moved on. So we thought he did as well. So we get these live streams are being sent over to us unsolicited. And there's a person, a woman speaking on the panel, one of the women. We didn't know who the person was. The person had a name. We didn't recognize the voice. So we're passing around this live stream to people behind the scenes. Do you know who this person is? Nobody knows who this person is. Okay, fine. We didn't even mention anything about the first live stream that came over. I'm almost positive I was the person that first typed it into a live stream. It possibly could have been Gerald, but I'm thinking I may have been the one that mentioned it, but he definitely had responded. He participated in some way. So that is when Grumpy Monkey learned that we had the sneak panel audio that was sent to us. And we didn't mention the woman's name, the woman that was on Slanda G's live stream. We didn't even say anything. Made no mention of the person. So not long after that, the person goes over to another panel. I'm not going to mention that person's panel. because I'm not trying to bring anybody else into this, because I want to be very specific about what I'm describing. And Grumpy Monkey came up, and this person told the host that I called her a demon. I'd never mentioned this person's name to anybody, like publicly online. Never called this person a demon. Never made any mention of this person. And I stated, I never mentioned your name. I never called you any name or something to the effect. So I'm going, listen to this. This person knows, obviously, that the sneak panels were sent to us, and we heard her talking mad shit about me and Rev G. We don't even know who she is. I don't know everybody. Everybody doesn't know me, just in general. We didn't know who the person was. So not long after that, the person goes to Rev G's live stream, and he had a guest. I'm not going to mention the guest's name. The guest comes off the panel, goes to the chat, and so we're just having a discussion over there. And this same person who said I called her a demon, who lied about me calling her a demon, starts to type in the chat, I don't like this. Something to the effect, I don't have a good feeling. I don't like this person. I've never, something very unkind and very much off kilter. Basically attacking the guest out of nowhere. Where in the hell does it say that the guest needs this person's seal of approval? Just came into the chat or was there in the chat, but decides to make a point to make these statements. So we did a correction as far as what we don't allow over here after we had this one major incident like the year before, earlier in the year. There's just certain things that are going to happen if a guest is on the panel, and disrespecting the guest or making people think that you need to like them. What the hell is that? We need to show this person that we are acceptable. Get the hell out of here. Nobody needs to do that. To me, that's troublemaking. That is troublemaking for you to go to a space and just jump up and just say, out of the clear blue sky, I don't like the person. I don't feel. Really? Well, I ask you this question, people. How many of you would have no response and just move on? I think, this is my opinion, that a great many people would have something to say about that and would not appreciate that comment. That's initiating a conflict. Now, there are people who are going to blast away if you say anything like that to them. And that's what happened. It just happened to be a man this time, and the man just went off. But then we have this, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. It's just what's going to happen in life. You don't know you don't know how people are going to respond to you bringing up their name and making statements about them. So that's what happened with that scenario. And if you want to hear the timeline, go below the title and click on those links. You can be your own judge, but at least have the information. If you were one of the people scratching your head and wondering what happened, there it is, below the title, the two links. Okay, so in Slanda G's chat, there were some comments being mentioned, which prompted me to recollect my experience with this whole scenario. There had been another scenario that I just described, and people are still talking about that, expressing disbelief about a person's decisions to do whatever the person says they're going to do. So I did put that information in, which is factual, and the person gives a response on the panel. Person can give a response on the panel, but here comes the male element of making a specific point to be seen. Very demonstrative, hard aligning with the person who was up on the panel. Let me tell you the significance of this, why this is a flashpoint, why I reacted the way I did. This is not the first time this person has done this. And I think this person is doing stuff like this for a very specific reason. Let me tell you what I mean by doing this. You have two women, and forget this situation, because I'm going to talk to you about, there's other sets of reoccurrences. Two women who will never see eye to eye, will never reconcile, or were never friends. I mean, it's never going to happen. And this person knows this, but they make a very demonstrative point of saying they're friends with both. This happening once, okay, happenstance, but it's recurring? No. That's sinister. That's starting bullshit. That is a situation that is not going to end up into anything but disaster. Keep me out of that shit. And the reason why this person made that hard line alliance with the person on the panel is for the same reason the person is making a point to be seen and heard, being between two women who are never going to get along, who are never going to agree. It's always going to be on. There's always going to be conflict. Keep me out of it. I know that's why you did it. That's the only reason why you did it. Sticking yourself into a situation deliberately for a purpose. Now, other people are making comments. Other people are making comments, but this person's comments of a different flavor. None of the other people are making a point to have a hard and fast demonstrative stance, bragging and saying that they're both my friends. It got so bad, people. Another episode along the same lines, few weeks before, you had a person whose life was put in danger to the point where the police told the people, you need to get out of here. So you got to uproot 5 people. 5 people have to uproot. No, the police can't force you to leave. This is before you even know who this person was, right? They can't force you to leave. They can't make you to leave. There's like no restraining order or anything. But they're telling you this area that you live in is a high alert response when it comes to police being called. These people are targeting you. We looked into it. This is a pattern and it doesn't look like they're going to stop. So you have to uproot, move to a whole new place. The man knows this and decides to slide up in the chat of the person who's responsible for the bullshit because the person's been interviewed by law enforcement. The person's name is on police reports, but the man goes over there or the male goes over there, gets in the person's chat who did this to his supposed friend and is happy to have a wrench. So I took that statement to be one and the same. Keep me out of this bullshit. You're not in the middle of me and anybody else. I mean, what the hell are you getting out of this? Just keep me out of it. I see what's going on. Nobody has to agree with me. This is something that is happening repeatedly. And the nerve for this person to say that I'm coming after him, that's bullshit. This person has made other statements when I am addressing an issue. This person makes a specific point to come in a way, it's crooked, people. You would never accept that bullshit if it was being done to you. You would have a reaction much quicker than I would because I was hanging around observing the scene. Do not put me in the middle of your shit with another woman. It don't have shit to do with me. They're trying to force it into a situation where I'm going to get up here and start mentioning names and there's going to be no, there's no going back and forth. And nobody's going to tell me if, when, and where, how I'm going to mention a name. I'm not mentioning the names now because I know specifically what the purpose is. If other people don't mind you doing that to them, go for it. I'm not getting in the middle of it and quit forcing me into a situation where you have to rescue a woman or you have to act like you're cool with both people so you can continue to be mentioned when something goes down. So when these two people fight, right, there's an argument. Oh, here I am. I'm the man who's up here on top looking at everything. It's sinister bullshit. It has to involve betrayal. There is no way in hell you can be best friends with mortal enemies. That is the problem that I had. One of the problems I had, I felt very unsettled in the Grumpy Monkeys chat because you have these people who are running around claiming to be down and loyal and they're going over to his mortal enemy's spaces, hanging out with the mortal enemy, going into the same I can't deal with that kind of shit. That's why I never trusted going into those groups. Now, when you talk about the concept of loyalty, it's a relative term. To me, I can't get down with shit like that. I think there's all kinds of angles involved. Keep me out of it. I'm telling you, keep me out. You don't have to deal with me. I'm not dealing with you, but I'm not going to be forced into the middle of a situation with a woman and there's a man here that has to come in and try to rescue the day. No. If that happens naturally, it happens, but this is manufactured. This is a manufactured bullshit that I'm not going to be participating in. If I need to speak on someone, I speak on someone. I'm not going to have somebody try to manufacture a situation where they're seen as the male authority and I get to speak on these women. These are popular women. People are talking about them. And here I am in the middle of bullshit. Keep me out of it. Keep me out of it. This has been festering and I'm not going to participate in it. So, people, let me tell you something. I have a lot more things I need to get through. I have several videos I'm trying to finish up, but this came up. I wanted to make sure it was put out there. And for me, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not going to respond. Keep me out. Keep me out. I will put on my community wall whatever the hell I want to put up there. If you don't like what's on my community wall, gouge your freaking eyes out because you can't help yourself. You're going to go over there and look. You got, I'm sure, all the tools at your disposal to gouge your freaking eyes out. So you don't have to go over there. People, you know, I have more I'm going to be bringing your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.